Hey everybody, we're making Kim's chicken and dumplings, and I got the easy part here. She's working on the harder part over there. This part you just make the biggest mess you can, and you get it all over you just as much as you can. But you just take some whatever kind of whatever kind of cheap biscuits you want. As you can see, these are just a great value biscuits, a Whopp'em, where you kind of just beat them on the side of the deal and you get them out here, and then you just kind of roll them in flour, and then you pinch them in half, and then pinch them again, throw them in here. Now a lot of people roll their dumplings out and make them all fancy and put all kinds of love in them and all that kind of stuff, but we don't love each other that much. You see what I'm saying? We don't have a lot of love.
This is how we like them.
This is actually how we like them. So that's what I'm doing, and then I'm going to stop here in just a second, and I'll swing over here and show you what the master gardener's doing. And then you put all that stuff together, and you come up with some dumplings. And I'm making this video because I know two boys that love their mom's chicken and dumplings, and one of these days they're going to want to know how we do them, and so they'll have a video on how to do it, so they'll have no excuse whenever they're taking care of my old decrepit hind end. When I say I'd like to have some chicken and dumplings, they'll know how I like them. So, I'll be right back. The other thing you have to do, especially when you're making these chicken and dumplings, is have every indoor animal we have at your feet while you are deboning the chicken.
And it's hot. I usually let it cool a little bit more to do this because it's very, very hot. And you can use store-bought chicken broth. It's not the same though. When it's broth from chicken breast, it's not the same. For me, it has to be thighs, good fat thighs, put off a nice broth. They put off some chicken fat, which is your flavor. So I use the long legs, which I think are a 10-pound bag for $6 and something, so really reasonable right now. And I use about 3 of them. Well, we don't put 3 legs worth of meat in our dumplings, but I debone them, which is what I'm doing now. I use a little bit of the chicken in our dumplings, and the rest will be used for chicken salad or chicken pot pie, some kind of casserole. So
yeah, you just might as well go ahead while you're deboning.
Yeah, you're prepping for another meal.
Exactly.
You can show them our broth. It's very rich, is what we call it. It's rich broth when it's full of that good yellow chicken fat, and it gives lots of good flavor. Well, this, I didn't have enough water in there to make a pot full. So what I done, I freeze chicken broth whenever I need to boil it for something besides dumplings. I freeze it into cubes, and I have those in 1 and 2 cup cube size ready for recipes. So I threw some of those into the broth today too.
So it's going to be extra chicken brothy.
Yeah, I like almost a full pot of broth, and then I just throw in about a cup of milk. And the flour from pinching your dumplings out will thicken your broth. So you want some flour left on them. But you want flavor, so you want to use more broth than milk. All of this goodness that you're seeing right here is dog safe. I pressured this chicken so it's falling off the bone. And I give it, the dogs know it. That's why they're at my feet. They know what I'm doing.
Yep.
I probably ain't making a lick of sense. I had shots this week and just not in a great spot right now. So sorry if I'm sounding confused.
I'm going to pan over to the broth now and
If my
tell me
stove's dirty, I'm sorry.
and tell me what's in there.
In that pot is chicken broth that we had from cooking long legs several times and from today. There's also about a cup of milk, whole milk. The skim and 2%, if that's all you got, that's fine. It's just not going to be as flavorful. And just salt and pepper. That has to get up to a good rolling boil before you put your dumplings in. Or your dumplings will cook away, they'll dissolve. You have to have good rolling boil so that they're cooked instead of dissolved.
All right. Well, I'm going to get back to pinching dumplings so she don't get too far ahead of me, but I'll leave the camera rolling over here. I may have to speed this up.
You can do fast forward on. You gotta watch yourself pinch all the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Whenever I go to edit it, I may have to speed this up because I'm behind. I feel like I'm behind.
Well, that broth ain't boiling yet, so can't put nothing in there till it is. And there ain't much to that part of filming, just showing.
Right.
You gotta fit them in there. You don't put them in all at once.
Yeah, when you're adding dumplings, don't just dump the whole bowl in there. You have to put them in there.
Yeah, you gotta. They're
Slowly.
gonna swell up and they'll overflow.
Yep, they swell up and they overflow.
Your broth has to get back to boiling too in between each one. Yeah, we're good.
Somebody's putting.
Yeah, they got a bunch.
Somebody's getting chicken fat and grease put in their dog bowl, so they're going to be happy.
Yeah, they got chicken fat and gristle and anything that they can eat that won't hurt their belly.
Yeah.
If you do that for your dogs, you need to try just a little bit the first time you do
Yeah,
it.
just try a little bit at a time so you'll know real quick if their stomach gets upset.
Yeah, you don't want to make them sick.
Now, question, was this is this the way your grandmother did it? Or is this something that you just decided to do?
Before canned biscuits came to be, my grandma did them by hand, rolled them out.
Mm-hmm.
We like a thick dumpling in our family, always have liked a thick dumpling, so some people don't. They want them rolled out real thin. Well, when these came about and she found out about them, she started doing half and half.
Like half rolled out and
half these.
Yeah.
And then when she got where she couldn't do them no more, my dad did them, and his were all rolled out.
Oh, he didn't use biscuits.
No, he didn't use biscuits.
That was cheating.
Well, that's why she did half and half, because some people liked them rolled out and some people liked the biscuits.
Oh, okay.
Me personally, well, all of us in this house like these.
Yeah.
They get fat.
Yeah.
But they also, if you put them in the boiling broth, they firm up like a dumpling, and they're just better tasting.
They are good.
Got a better texture, I should say.
Texture. Yep.
I've done them rolled out, but they don't firm up real good.
They're a lot thinner. Yeah, they're a lot thinner dumpling.
Yeah. But you can make them however you want. It's your kitchen. Just, how we do it.
We're all about easy.
Yeah. This is how I've always done them. As far back as I can remember.
And that was 3.
It was 5 cans.
Well, where'd the other cans
I
go?
already threw those away.
Okay, so it was 5 cans. I mean, we're 3 big healthy eaters, so you may not need 5 cans, but that's what we put in ours.
I usually put 6. Yeah, I usually put 6, but like everything else, canned biscuits have gone up. I couldn't believe what they were charging this time. Over $3 for a 4-pack. So, we're going to do 5. It's good to clean as you go.
Now, once this comes up to a rolling boil, we'll start putting the dumplings in slowly because you don't want to lose your boil.
Right, you don't want to lose your boil. You don't want, they're going to swell up real fast and you'll boil over. If I was using 6 biscuits, it would really be tough. 6 cans would be tough. But this many, as long as you're watching it, you can't walk away from it. It will boil over. We're not putting all this in there. We're just putting some of it, but it's got to cool down before the rest of it can go in the fridge. Can't put hot food in a cold fridge. It'll heat your everything in your fridge up. It'll heat your milk and everything else up and can cause spoilage.
We are boiling.
This is how I do it. I just kind of drop a few at a time, and I try to separate them.
Yeah, and that's going to cool your liquid off, so you got to pay attention to that.
If you start seeing it stop boiling,
Then stop dropping.
yeah, and as it gets fuller, they're going to come to the top, and it'll start rising up. So you might have to push them down.
Use a wooden spoon when you do that, though, because it's hot.
Usually, yeah. I try to drop them where they're going to go through that fat. It kind of coats them and keeps them individual.
Mm-hmm. You were saying something a while ago about fat off camera in your liquid. What was that?
Well, I was showing the thick amount of yellow fat on the top.
Yeah.
Which is your flavor, and it coats each dumpling. Some people try to make dumplings with boneless, skinless meat, like chicken breast.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to have any fat in it, so you're not going to have any flavor like you would with this.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be healthier. It just won't be as tasty. If you want a good
Rich.
broth,
You gotta have it rich.
yeah, for say chicken noodle soup or dumplings or something, then you need the skin to be on the meat. Chicken breasts still don't have, to me, enough fat if the skin's on them. I just prefer thighs or long legs to get that good fatty broth. Some people are grossed out, though, by the fat, or they're grossed out by having to pull the meat off the bone.
Well, they're plumping up.
Yeah, you see how it's kind of quit boiling? So we got to give it a minute to come back up. And they swell, so, you just kind of knock them down. As it gets fuller, you can take your spoon and push some of these out of the way to drop some down in there. You never want to do broth that's cold or ain't boiling, because what you'll end up doing is you'll end up making gravy. The dumplings will dissolve as the water comes up to heat, and then you just get a gravy is all you get. If it's boiling, each individual dumpling is keeping its shape. See, like that. They smell real good.
Yeah, that's what I was just sitting here thinking. Need some smell-o-vision.
You know, I just put salt and pepper in mine. That broth is rich enough that I don't have to put any bouillon and I don't put any vegetables. There's some places that do. For my recipe, though, I don't do any of that. Just salt and pepper, and the chicken broth has so much flavor in it that that's all it's needed. I'm letting it boil again. A lot of that broth, the fat gets blended in and on the dumplings, and you're not going to have this big layer of fat sitting on top when it's done. I boil it on high, keep my heat on high. Yep, we're boiling good again. Drop them down in there. If it starts getting to where it's starting to look like it's fixing to boil over, you just push them down. Settle the bowl down. Once all your dumplings are in there, you're still going to have to stir them, but you can turn that heat down just a little bit if it's too full. We pick the dumplings out. That's why we have so many.
Yes, absolutely.
Kind of like when we make potato soup. I make 2 batches of potato. It's a process to do these. If you did them by hand, you really got... Anybody that makes you homemade chicken and dumplings, where they've cut them dumplings out by hand and everything, that's an act.
That's of love.
It's of love.
Absolutely.
The flour on these dumplings will start to thicken the broth. You want a thicker broth, you know, or we do. We don't want it too soupy. Starting to boil back again. It's a lot of dumplings.
It is a lot of dumplings. We do 3 to 1 as far as chicken and dumplings go. We use like 3 dumplings to 1 piece of chicken.
Yeah, we don't want a lot of meat in there. I'll just take a handful when the dumplings are done cooking. The chicken's already cooked, so I'll just take a handful of that deboned meat and throw in there. Almost got them all. And you'll cook them when you got all your dumplings in there. You're going to cook them, you're going to boil them until the dumplings are firm. You don't want them doughy. You don't want them raw.
And when you say cook them, you mean like put the lid back on it and...
No, you don't put the lid back on it.
Oh, okay.
You just leave them open because it'll boil over, make you a big, huge mess. You're just going to keep stirring them gently until the dumplings firm up. When they're raw, they tend to stretch and they just don't look the same as when they're cooked. I'm going to throw the rest in. Try to make sure all that bits and pieces of flour go in there and thicken that broth up. they get firm, where it takes a little bit to cut through them. See how I had to push through it?
Mm-hmm.
The doughy ones, the ones that ain't done, are like that. They don't look the same. They're stretchy. That's just biscuit dough is all that is. Has to cook. But once they're all cooked, you can turn your heat off, throw your handful of chicken in there, and they're ready to eat. We like to let them cool off a little bit because they're like lava.
Yeah, that's for sure.
As they settle, they won't all be on the top of the broth either. They'll settle down into it. You can see this was pinched into 3 pieces, but they're big, so you could pinch them more if you wanted to.
So these are about done. We've been sitting there stirring for 4 or 5 minutes, and they firmed up. And now she's going to put some chicken in there.
And if you like more chicken,
Add more chicken.
yeah, add more chicken. But my bunch wants more dumplings than chicken, so that's what we have. See how if I wasn't standing here and I walked out of the room,
It'd be boiling over.
it would not be long before it's boiling over.
Yeah.
So we're going to turn it off because they're cooked.
Yeah, the chicken's already cooked. Dumplings are done. Now we're just going to turn the heat off and stir it all up. Let it sit and cool off a little bit. I like to add a little bit more pepper in my bowl. But, she's ready to go. And that's our homemade chicken and dumplings right there. And when I say homemade, I know we used biscuits, but at least it's not canned chicken and dumplings. You know what I'm saying?
It's homemade.